Our winter weatherization workshop focuses on insulating the home and learning how to keep it warm in the colder times. And it also focuses a lot on mold and humidity to control mold, since that's a big issue in the winter. And then our summer workshop, we focus on ventilating and learning how to keep that summer heat outside of your home. So we also have a healthy homes workshop. Previously, we only offered a lead poisoning prevention workshop. However, this past year, we have been working to develop and expand our topics. So we now offer radon, mold, indoor air quality, and carbon monoxide safety workshops, which are launching actually this month, which is super exciting. And I didn't mention it on the last screen, but the email, if you're interested in scheduling a workshop with us, so the emails are on the bottom. So for the weatherization workshop, just reach out to that email on the bottom of the screen, and we can work with you to schedule a workshop. It's just energy@communityenergyproject.org. For our healthy homes workshops, just reach out to the email below, which is lead@communityenergyproject.org. And for all of our workshop participants that are income qualified, and that's at 80% of the Portland medium income guidelines and below, they're able to take home a kit of materials that coincide with the workshop that they're at. So for the Healthy Homes workshops, they get a kit that comes with a DIY lead test swab and a bunch of cleaning materials and a carbon monoxide safe alarm. And for our weatherization workshops, it depends on which season, so winter and summer. But you get things like box fans, rope caulk, insulation items, ventilation items, as well as water conservation materials. So I know that's a lot of information on our workshops. So I'm going to move on and talk about Oregon Community Solar. So we are the low income facilitator for the Oregon Community Solar. That means that anyone who meets our income guidelines, they're able to join this program at no cost. So there is no subscription fee. And if you don't know about Oregon Community Solar, it's a way to connect our community members to the benefits of solar without having the burden of actually directly installing solar onto a person's home. And that way, we're also able to make this accessible to renters or people who live in apartments, or, mobile homes or whatnot. As long as you have an energy bill, you are able to access this program. And so how it works is you kind of subscribe to a solar panel, depending on how much energy your house uses. And that energy that that solar panel creates, which just goes to the main grid, is calculated into a discount on your regular energy bill, whether it's a PGE bill, Pacific Power, Northwest Natural. We work with all of those utilities. And an average, our customers see about a 10% saving on their annual bill, which is a big deal considering how often our bills are going up every year with our utility bills. Uh, so we also do in-homes work. As I said, we are able to come into clients' actual homes and do weatherization repairs, leak repairs, as well as water heater replacements. And it's all at no cost as long as you are within the um, 50% to 80% median income guidelines for Portland City. So it is the Portland City income guidelines that we use. Um, and we have, oops. All right, yes, I'm going to skip forward real quick. We also have a grant with PSEF where we're able to do more than just quick repairs. We're actually able to come in and do a deep energy retrofit. And that could be like a major construction project. which is at no cost for homeowners who qualify. Oh,
Uh-oh. Lena, are you still here? Wow. I was about to say classic Monday, but it's actually Tuesday. So, well, we'll give it maybe 1 minute. Okay, here she is.
so okay, sorry everyone. I think my laptop died. Um, but I'm looking at the clock and realizing that I was going overtime. So I'll make sure to share those slides with Marin so that they could all be accessible to you. But yeah, I was kind of just finishing off with talking about PSEF. And the only thing I wasn't able to mention was that we do have an advocacy team that goes and advocates for our communities in the legislator space. So apologies about that, about my laptop dying, but um, if anyone has any questions, I am going to drop my email in the chat so you can reach out to me at a later time, and I'll let the next person start presenting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry that technology got in your way, but yeah, you can definitely go to our website, like I said, and look at the links, and yeah, we'll pass it on to Oscar Jimenez from Urban Nature Partners PDX. Yay, thanks for being here,
Hi,
Oscar.
hello everybody. I'm gonna. All right. Okay.
Nice, we can see it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, hello everybody. I'm gonna present Urban Nature Partners. So you know, um, so what do we do? We match committed adult mentors with youth from marginalized communities in two different modes. We have the one-on-one, which which has been going on for the last 11 years. In this mode, a single youth of usually between 9 to 12 years old is matched with an adult, and then they go out on weekly outings to neighborhood green space. Um, and then we also have the new mode that we've started uh, last year, which is small group mentoring, so we can have more capacity, and also because older kids usually respond better to being in a group setting because they have more social interests and whatnot. So usually it's one mentor with three older kids, mainly between 13 and 16, and they go on outings every other week that are sometimes more challenging than the ones because on the one-on-one they just go to the park, but the other kids will usually do maybe rock climbing or longer hikes. Besides uh, the whole mentoring, we organize approximately 18 family inclusive outings throughout the year, and we usually do this with uh, culturally specific and relevant partners that will make the youth, feel identified and have a good adult examples that look like them doing, cool things in the outdoors. Well, our mission is to empower youth from historical marginalized Portland populations by building connections to nature and community through long-term mentoring relationships. And our vision is for every youth and family in Portland to have similar access to all the health benefits that the outdoors and spending time outdoors give us. Because it's not a secret, all the systemic barriers that people from marginalized communities in this city have to access uh, green spaces. Even though the city looks so green, if you start going east, eventually there starts being less trees and there's less sidewalks and many times there's the economical barriers. This they don't have the proper gear, and maybe all the adults in their lives have two or more jobs, so no time to take them um, to these places. And well, many of our families are um, uh, immigrant, are have English as a second language. At least the parents, the kids are usually second generation. So many times they just don't know how to navigate all the resources that we have in the city, and all these things can seem little if you see them isolated, but they represent a big barrier for them to access uh, outdoor experiences and opportunities. We guide ourselves through three values. Equity. We're looking to dismantle barriers that keep marginalized youth from connecting with the outdoors. And we also leverage our ally privileges to increase equity, inclusion, and justice in outdoor spaces and programs. Maybe sometimes helping other organizations realize that maybe they need Spanish speakers and staff, or some more their forms to be on more languages and things of the sort. Another one of our values is relationships. We think that collaborative relationships are essential to our work and for our communities and families to thrive. In this vein, we've led the creation of a collaborative called Youth Outdoor Service Providers. Um, it's basically a place, where other providers that work with youth and people that work with youth, we get together and it, we're just trying to collaborate to better serve our communities. And if anyone has another space or has or work with youth, feel free to contact me or um, on the email it's gonna show in the end, so we can add you to the list. And our final value is youth empowerment. We are trying to make the youth realize that uh, they they can there's all these resources that are there for them, and to realize that they have a say on how their futures are gonna go on. Um and for this, well, when we designed the group mentoring, we consulted with them, we gave them stipends, we are constantly we look for uh we look to put them in programs like Length Youth Initiative or with Portland Parks. Unfortunately, there's not many opportunities, and those are very competitive, which is some of the things that we're trying to work on the collaborative, but we want to increase their agency and involvement, and we've had success with that. One good example is one of the youth from the first cohort, who is now 21, will occasionally collaborate with us by helping us design outings and make decisions more informed by youth that have been in the program. Mhm. Well, these are some pictures, and something else that I didn't mention is that we also provide summer, spring break, and no day camp scholarships to the youth. Many times with help from partner organizations, but they're always completely covered, including transportation and gear necessary, and basically everything that they may need to be able to get these experiences that they might not be able to otherwise. Um, so there's all our information, and well, the presentation is going to be uploaded. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Oscar. That was really cool to hear about. I love your mission, and it's awesome to hear that there are scholarships available for people. Next up is YWCA Shay, and I see you right here. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, Shay.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all. Let me get my screen going. Just a moment here. Let's see, even though I've been screen sharing for years, the other day I accidentally just started sharing my desktop instead of my presentation, and no one told me for like 20 minutes. So, let me do it right this time.
We'll tell you.
Okay. But let's see. Hi, everybody. My name is Shay, and I use he, him pronouns. I work for YWCA, and I manage the Social Justice Education and Training Program. And so I've got just some information to kind of talk about the program. If you're familiar with YWCA in general, or if you're not, kind of a brief overview of the program is we have like 4 major programs. First one being our domestic violence advocacy program. We also have a seniors program, and we also have our family preservations project. And then I'm the 4th program, the social justice education and training program. But I'm going to spend most of my time today just briefly overviewing what the program does and then talking about one of our upcoming cohorts that we have. So as far as the whole program, what do we even do? Well, we basically host workshops, and I know I've heard some other presentations. I love knowing that so many different community folks are doing workshops, but that's also what we do. We host workshops that center anti-racism, empowering survivors, understanding intersectional oppression, and much more. We have lots of different facilitators that we contract with throughout a year, and collectively they offer over 100 different topics. So I know I'm not going to go through that full list, but I definitely have links and resources that I can send out afterwards if you would like to see all of the topics that are offered. So for our workshops, we have some core components. I kind of break them into 2 categories. We have public workshops and we have private workshops. The public ones are where anybody who would like to join is welcome to register and attend. They are all hosted via Zoom, so location doesn't matter. If you know somebody who maybe states away and would find some of these topics interesting or of need, they are more than welcome to attend. And we have a set schedule. I'll get into those a little bit more in a bit. But we also offer private workshops, and this is where organizations can connect with me directly and say, hey, we would like for y'all to come in and host a workshop on, let's say, understanding oppression. And I say, okay, great. And we're going to make some time to talk. I'm going to get to know the attendees. We're going to set some goals and figure out how to best meet that organization's needs and figure out what skills that you hope for staff to gain. So those are kind of like the 2 broad categories of our workshops. And if I'm going to focus in on the public ones that I mentioned as to one of the categories earlier, those break into pretty much 2 different categories, and they're 2 different cohorts. The first one that we offer is the Domestic Violence Advocacy Certification. We do offer this one 3 to 4 times per year. And this is how we can certify somebody to legally work with survivors in the state of Oregon. The second cohort that we offer, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail on this one in just a moment, but this one is called our Anti-Racism Practices Certification. And so basically we're creating a space for people to gain or deepen their understanding of racism, oppression, and liberation. Okay. So I think it is important to note that anti-racism work, it is a lifelong practice. Even though we call it a certification and a cohort, I want to emphasize that nobody leaves an expert on understanding racism because of that commitment to it being a lifelong process. And we go into a lot more detail on that inside of the cohort, but I want to keep it brief today. But through our certification, we encourage learners at all levels of their all levels in their social justice journey to join us, to deepen that understanding and to better show up for our community and to create a more inclusive society for everybody and doing that together. I think what's really cool about the cohort model is that folks that are coming in often carry the same or similar beliefs. We're all connected. We all see a future that we wish to be a part of, and we make that commitment to show up every day and say, I'm going to do my part to helping us get to the place that I and we need our society to be in. We do have an upcoming anti-racism cohort. I will send out a document too. This is like a PDF version. I know it's a little bit blurry, but it's about a 3-week commitment. It's a little over 20 hours. We do an intro meeting where I will kind of review with everybody what to expect and how to best prepare. We'll go over conversations like redirecting harmful conversations about race, talking about socialization, talking about terminology related to equity. We're going to talk about biases, microaggressions. We're going to talk about anti-Blackness and misogynoir, cross-cultural communication, disability justice, restorative justice, and the cycle of liberation. So again, there's so many more topics that we could put into this, but when I was planning it, I was thinking, okay, what is a reasonable amount to ask people to commit to, and then kind of start from there, or else I can say, who's ready for that year-long cohort? Let's get into this. So this is kind of like a good platform or place to start building your knowledge off of. So I had said earlier, whether or not you have a strong understanding of anti-racism or you're new to understanding anti-racism, we will absolutely be able to address everybody dependent upon where they're at in their learning. Some workshops are a little more foundational, while others are definitely more nuanced, but they all build upon one another. So kind of what to expect, again, deepening that understanding. We're going to think critically about social norms. We're going to think about common ways that organizations may avoid meaningful anti-racism work. We're going to think critically about anti-Blackness and other oppressive tactics. We're going to consider various paths to liberation and then integrating restorative practices into both our individual lives and our organizational processes. And then I see some comments in the chat, so I'm just going to peek here. Okay, great. So if you're thinking, okay, so there's this cool cohort and I kind of have a brief understanding of what to expect, but I also wanted to put up some quotes. These are from past people who have gone through the cohort, and I think it was really cool to see some of their reflections. So I'm just going to read them out loud to increase accessibility. I know sometimes with font and colors on the slide, it may be a little bit difficult. The first one on the left says, I plan to speak up more in my social circles about anti-racism, activate myself more in the community, and continue learning through the resources shared by the cohort. That middle panel there says, love that we got resources and tools afterwards. There are so many resources that come from this cohort. I have an entire resource folder that people get. Every workshop has its own resource list. There's added resources that facilitators pass along. There are so many resources that come from it. And then the last quote on the right there says, at work, I hope to speak on structural changes to recommend and bring forward detour spotting and calling in and out microaggressions. And maybe if you're somebody who's like, never heard of detour spotting, that's a term used to talk about how organizations avoid meaningful anti-racism work. So how we may take a detour in doing the actual meaningful work. Alrighty, and then just my last slide here, just in general, if you're like, wow, this is really cool. I love the program. I love what y'all do. How can I support? There are some main ways. Sharing our workshops with people that you know, following us on social media, engaging with our posts, attending our workshops, of course, completing our surveys. Now, of course, I know we go to lots of events, and I think every event probably has a survey afterwards. But I do genuinely take that feedback, and the cohort schedule that I had up, let's see, this one here. So there are actually 2 topics in here that came from past attendee suggestions and requests. So I read through it and I do make changes. It is feedback is really important to me. And then, of course, engage with the work, like when you're in the workshops, participate and engage in a way that makes you feel most comfortable. Telling organizations about our workshops. And then, of course, if you ever come across cool resources because of that large resource folder that we have, I love to be able to upload those and make sure that our community has as much access to things as I know about. And then I see in the chat here, see lots of love. Says saying, love y'all's work, all your cohorts and classes. I love that. Thank y'all so much. But I think as far as content, I try to keep it pretty short and sweet, and that is what I have for y'all. Thank you for listening. You'll have access to the slides, and in the chat, I'll put in my contact information and then links to see the cohort. But thank y'all so much, and I'm happy to have been here.
Yay, thanks so much, Shay. Well-deserved love in the chat. Your organization and you do amazing work. Okay, so last but certainly not least, we'll hear from Renee Lyles from ElectrifyPDX. Renee, you ready to roll?
Yes. I'm using a backup device, so sorry I'm not on camera. Shout out to everyone that came before me. Shay, dope program, and I love hearing more details about the Clean Energy Project since we promote their stuff. So it's always good to get some more deets. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
And hear me? Okay, cool. So my name is Renee. I work with ElectrifyPDX, and we're a nonprofit organization. We share information on home electrification. So we'll share information about PGE's programs and Portland Clean Energy funded, and we share about CEP and their programs such as community solar. So I just have a little presentation about what electrification is, some of the benefits, resources available, and some of the other websites that are really cool, such as Rewiring America, which is basically kind of like a one-stop shop for at least all of the information regarding the money, which I know people want to hear about, is how can they cut down on costs to electrify. So at ElectrifyPDX, we're helping people power their homes with clean energy. To address climate change in time to keep the earth livable, we need to get to zero emissions as soon as possible. And burning fossil fuels is the primary source of emissions. So that's electricity through coal and natural gas, transportation, gasoline and diesel, heat, natural gas, which is similar or worse than coal. It's a major source of air pollution. So what is electrification? Electrification is replacing fossil fuel powered appliances in cars with electricity powered appliances in cars. The benefits are a healthier indoor air quality, lower utility bills, greater comfort, more resilience against climate chaos, and a healthy home and planet. And just a little caveat, there are certain laws and regulations against companies having, too much, obviously, pollution. And there's no regulation for the inside of our homes. And so if the inside of our homes were rated, most households will not pass it. It would be considered unsafe environment. So just FYI, a lot of times, of course, using these different fuel sources, it's invisible, but it is definitely impacting our health. So electrification is obviously important for the world, but also just inside of your home. So that was basically that slide. I should have went to it. So yes, electrify everything. Electrification plus clean energy equals zero emissions and a healthy planet. Who's electrification for? Electrification is for everyone. Communities of color and low-income families are most affected by climate change and the pollution from fossil fuels. At ElectrifyPDX, we help bring the benefits of clean energy to everyone, renters and homeowners, low and moderate income households, BIPOC communities. Resources and signages are available in Spanish and English as well. I'm ready to electrify. Where do I start? One, you can join the Electrify movement. As I said, we're a nonprofit organization, and we help inspire Portlanders with power to power their homes and businesses with clean energy. And we have a awesome program. So you'll sign up, you'll get a yard sign pictured below. The two kiddos are holding them. And as you clean up your electric supply, for each system, you get a little badge. So it's kind of like a little reward system. And you can add that badge to your sign. There's also a QR code. So if your neighbors are walking by, they can scan it and get information. And then once your home is 100% power with clean electricity, we can give you a plaque to display. And also, again, it helps get supporters and encouragement from neighbors. And it makes the transition to clean energy visible, which is really important. Again, it's one of those kind of silent, invisible things happening. So, and other ways, of course, to clean up your electric supply is to apply for your utilities green power program, sign up for community solar, which was just spoke about, and installing roof top solar for homeowners that have that qualification. So you want to make a plan. You want to take inventory. You want to check your electrical panel. You want to get a home energy assessment, and as well as get estimates from local trusted contractors. A few of the items that you can get, obviously, switch out in your home, and lots of incentives are available for, which is part of the reason why our program exists, is to share the details of that. I just tabled an event and I had so many people that were like upset because they did not know about the rebates that were available. These are thousands of dollars. So for example, the heat pumps, it allows for year-round comfort with heating and cooling, and it makes your home way more efficient so that you can save on your bills. For low-income folks, there's programs that can help support you to save 30 to 50% on your bill. Also, for the heat pump cost, there's upfront discounts up to $8,000. There's a 30% tax credit up to $2,000 and a $500 energy trust discount. Another item is the heat pump water heat, which captures the ambient heat and transfers it to the water. It's 3 times more efficient than other types of water heaters. And there are available incentives up to $1,750 and 30% tax credit up to $2,000 and a $700 energy trust discount. Lots of money. Next is the induction stove, which is a very popular one. It has better control. It heats faster. It's easier to clean. It's safer, most importantly. It has up to 90% lower carbon emissions, 0% benzene and NO2 emissions. Just a much safer alternative to what a lot of people are using. And there's an incentive up to $840 starting early next year. Other appliances include electric panels, heat pump clothes dryers, smart thermostats, fireplaces, grills, lawnmowers, and leaf blowers. There are other important ways to make your home resilient and efficient. One is installation and air sealing for increased efficiency and more peace and quiet. Number 2 is ventilation and air filtering for healthy indoor air quality. And number 3, plant a tree. West is best for late afternoon shade. And there's also incentives for that. There's rebates up to $1,600, 30% tax credit up to $1,200, and there are energy trust discounts available as well. This is the website I was referring to. It's called rewiringamerica.org. It allows you to see, based on your zip code and your household status, what upfront discounts are available, tax credits, and other incentives. Really, really helpful. Also for renters, they have a really cool letter to give to your landlord to help promote electrification of your apartment building. There are, of course, tax incentives and rebates for building owners as well. And that letter indicates that too, if you want to nudge your apartment. So here's some other ways that renters can take action to shift into clean energy. They can get a portable induction burner, a portable heat pump window unit, which includes the AC, and they can buy or lease an electric car or e-bike. And of course, as I said, tell your landlord about electrification options. On our website, we have a lower no cost options resource page. It has all the details in the Portland metro area, as well as any sort of state or federal opportunities. Right now, for low income folks, there is there's an open list for a free air conditioning unit. So scan the QR code and check out that page for additional resources. I'll go back one second. Just a few more seconds if folks want to scan the QR code with their phone. Otherwise, of course, the slides will be up. Other helpful resources, we have a Facebook page, a monthly newsletter, which you can sign up for on our website, continuing education training, free webinars, friendly advice, and contractor recommendations, which has been crucial. So start with your home and then inspire your friends and family. There's this cute little graphic. It says, so I saw your heat pump and then I got a heat pump and then my whole neighborhood got heat pumps. And the friend says, I'm so pumped to hear that. Really cheesy, but cute, right? Oops, sorry, 1 second. So this is just one neighborhood by the Woodward Montessori. And we have lots of neighbors that are electrifying. And they all have their signs up, and some of them have plaques that they've gone 100% electric. So if you're feeling inspired, join the movement. This is a QR code just for our website, which is ElectrifyPDX.org. And I'll just check the chat. I'm not sure if there's any questions. Okay, awesome. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think some folks shared, but these rebate programs are awesome to hear about. I know that cost is definitely something that keeps folks from electrifying, and it's helpful to have that barrier taken
Yes.
down.
And Peg says, I too am pumped to hear
Yeah,
this.
I love that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary, for having me.
Yeah, thank you. If you could stop sharing your screen, then that would be amazing. Perfect. Okay, so that was our last presentation for today, but I'll hang out here in case anybody has any questions. And in the chat, I'm going to put a survey for this session. So would love for y'all to take just a few minutes and fill that out. It really helps us better understand how we can make these sessions best for you. These are just a great opportunity for y'all to get to know the other organizations in town and also just see faces that might otherwise be just an email. So we want to continue to do these for you and continue to make them as helpful as possible. So please fill out the survey, and if anybody has any questions for any presenters or for Annie and myself, feel free the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Marin. Marin's doing a great job. Marin just took over. This is the second time she's taken over the monthly learning sessions and is doing a fabulous job. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. Everyone, I'm Marin. I'm the outreach coordinator at CSN.
It's hard to navigate all of it when you're trying to do multiple screens and people and schedules. And so you did great. You did great. And thanks to all the presenters and thanks to all of you for showing up. We really appreciate you. And we hope you're hanging in there right now. We hope you're able to enjoy the beautiful smells of spring and maybe just the little moments of sunshine that pop through amongst the hail. It's the little things right now, right? You have to celebrate the little things. Oh, and if anyone has any events to share or anything before they hop off. Okay. Erin, fabulous job. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to stop recording.
Perfect. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It was great to see you.